All right, good morning, guys. For Chapter 10 review, you're going to have a few minutes of review, and I'm going to give you the formulas, maybe a couple of examples of problems that I want you to work out. But then also, I'm going to give you a worksheet, which will be attached in a little bit. And also, we have a quiz over this material on Thursday. So today we'll have a Zoom review session at 1. So if you have any questions on today's assignment or yesterday's, great time to ask. And then Wednesday we'll have another more, if you can make it a mandatory Zoom session, and you guys can get some more review problems during that time. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cover the lessons here, and then if you have questions, just let me know this afternoon at 1 o'clock on Zoom. Okay, so right now we have 10-2, so I'm going to go in order. Lesson 10-2, and you have two formulas that you need to know. The first formula is the perimeter of a regular polygon is the number of sides times the length of each side. So this is for perimeter of a regular polygon. Okay, so an example would be if you have a decagon whose perimeter is 22.4. So if you have a perimeter of 22.4 and it's a decagon, that's going to give me the number of sides. So they're going to ask you what is the length of each side. And I'm sorry about the glare here, but that's 22.4 equals 10s. Okay, I'm going to work it out over here so you can see it a little better. But you would divide both sides by 10. So really you're doing 22.4 divided by 10, which really just moves the decimal over to the left once. So you get 2.24, and that's going to be the length of each side if you have a regular decagon. So that's how you use that first formula, P equals NS. Okay, the second formula that you needed to know was the perimeter of a rectangle, which is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So this is perimeter of rectangle. So I'm not going to write the whole thing, where L stands for the length and W stands for the width. And again, that's P. I know the glare right here. There's a big glare right here. P equals 2L plus 2W. And so in these problems, they'll give you the perimeter again, and they'll give you either the length or the width, and you have to solve for the missing part. So that's lesson 10-2. You have to know that for the quiz on Thursday. Lesson 10-3 has a few more formulas. So we're talking about area here. So 10-3 is talking about area. And these are just, they'll give you the shape or they'll give you the dimensions, and then you have to come up with the area. So we'll go here with parallelogram. That's the first one they gave you. Parallelogram. And that's going to be area equals base times height. So that's your parallelogram formula. Area equals base times height. Then they also gave you a triangle. And that's going to be area equals 1/2 base times height. So a triangle is half a parallelogram of same dimensions. So area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height. And don't forget, multiplying by half is the same thing as dividing by 2. So you could do it either way, whichever one's easiest for you. Then they also give you a trapezoid. And that area is a little more complicated, but it's 1/2 times the base of 1 plus the base of 2 times the height. So that one has a little bit more parts. It's area equals 1/2, and then you have the first base and the second base, and that's multiplied by the height. Okay, so that's your trapezoid, triangle, and parallelogram area formulas. And that's going to cover your lesson 10-3. You do have to know those formulas and be able to apply them. And then we get 10-4. 10-4, and I'm going to use a different marker so you can see a little bit clearer. So 10-4 would be your circumference and area. So another two formulas you need to get: circumference of a circle. That means perimeter of a circle. So if you're ever looking for the distance around a circle, that's circumference. And that's going to be C equals either pi times diameter. So you either multiply 3.14 times the diameter, or you're going to do C equals 2 pi r. Okay, if they gave you the diameter, excuse me, if they gave you the diameter, you could use the first formula. If they gave you the radius, you could use the second formula, but they're both the same thing, and I hope you remember how that works. And then the area is going to be, so this is the area of a circle, is going to be pi r squared. And a question I've been getting, if you're trying to find the full area of a circle, full area of a circle, pi r squared. But if you're trying to find half the area, like a semicircle for the next lesson, you just divide this number, whatever you get here, by 2. If you're trying to get to half the circumference, you just divide this by 2. So hopefully you can understand that if you're getting part of a whole, here's the whole, and you're just trying to find whatever part. Like even if I wanted to find a fourth of the area, well, I would get the whole area, and then I would divide by 4 if I'm trying to find a fourth of the area. So please be aware of that. And then you had 10-5, which is the complex figures, and that's really what your homework is tonight or today, because that is going to be covering all the lessons for the most part with area. So area of complex figures. Let's do an example here. I want to see my time. Yeah. Let's do an example here. Okay, let's do this. And they give me 8, so 6, 8. And again, I'm going to leave the units off for now just for our diagram's sake. That's 4. Okay, so this is what they give me. And they want me to find the area of the shaded portion. Okay, so here's one example. So either they make a compound figure, or they make a figure with a shaded region, and they ask you, find the area of the shaded region. Okay, so first identify the shapes that are in play here. So I guess this is a rectangle, right? Because of the difference between the length and width. So it's not a square, it's a rectangle. And then I have a triangle inside. So to find the area of the shaded part, okay, to find the area of the shaded, I'm going to take the area of the rectangle and I'm going to subtract the area of the triangle. Does that make sense? So I get the area as if everything were shaded, that's the rectangle, and then I subtract the area of this triangle, which would leave me only the shaded portion. So the area of the rectangle is 6 times 8. So area of the rectangle is 6 times 8. And that's going to get me 48. So that's the area of the whole thing. But if I want to just get the shaded part, I have to get the area of the triangle and subtract it from that 48. So the triangle's formula for area is 1/2 base times height. So 1/2, and then the base is 6, and then the height is 4. And you can multiply in any way, so I'll do 1/2 times 6, that's 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So the area of the triangle is 12. So I take the 48 square units minus the 12 square units, and I get 36, and in this case it was centimeters, so square centimeters. So that would be my area of the shaded portion. So you have to know all the area formulas in order to get these complex figures or the shaded parts down. So just make sure that you memorize those for Thursday. You can use them for your assignment today, but you should get to the point where you're memorizing them and you don't need that sheet anymore. Okay, so I'll post that review worksheet as well. So just be ready for that, and then we'll have that. I think it's a 1 o'clock session. If not, I'll post it the right way on Google Classroom. All right, see you guys.